of providing for you is not doing anything at all. See, if a person believes that every prayer that I pray, the moment that I pray it, it is supposed to be answered, and you look immediately for the result and you don't find it, if you're looking at it from that point of view, then you'll become discouraged, because it will seem to you that God is not listening to you when that is not the case at all. It is the case that when you ask God to provide and he doesn't, many times it's because he is challenging you as a believer, as a man, as a woman of God, to now trust the creativity that he places inside of you to see a door where before you saw a wall. And in some way, shape, or form, you start shifting in your thinking and shifting in your faith and shifting in your belief and shifting in your creativity, because now the Lord becomes your challenger as he is now manifesting the fact that he is your provider. So then he increases them the intellect of the believer, because God's intention is never for any of us at any way, shape, or form to think that he is just going to be a butler or a genie for you. And then all of a sudden, everything is just going to come out as the testimony that I proclaimed in my head. And sometimes we do the testimony before the test is over. So we start testifying, and I can imagine myself standing in front of the church, and I'm going to tell them this part of how God did what he said, and then the church going to go crazy, and we're going to go to praising God, because at that time on Wednesday, 12 o'clock, the Lord worked a miracle. Child, he's an awesome God. Wednesday come, 2 o'clock. God ain't show up. The next Wednesday come, 8 o'clock. Next year, Wednesday come. And your testimony that you practice has gotten stale. And now you don't want no testimony. You want to write a book called They That Wait Upon the Lord. And so what takes place now is that God many times does not do what we are expecting. Let's be honest about it. He doesn't do many times what we are expecting. And the testimonies that we hear that sound so instantaneous, if we would really be honest and follow the truth of that testimony, sometimes that testimony took 10 years to happen and to manifest and to work out. So don't think that God is a quick answering God, because we have to look at the reality that as God challenges us, he's challenging every aspect of who we are. So he says to answer you is not to answer you so that you can trust me, so I can expand your thinking. It is under pressure that you have the greatest ideas. It is when you are under attack that you have your greatest moments. You can't be a wimp if you're going to be a believer. You can't be a wimp, because God is not coming to your pity party in the corner and crying and you going through changes and nobody loves me and nobody's here for me and I just need God and oh Lord, and you get through all of that and God is just like, you through? God ain't coming over there. Because when you get through it all that, you're going to stand up and you're going to follow exactly what I told you to do, because the miracle is not going to come because you're whining. The miracle is going to come because you're believing me in the process, and you're trusting the fact that even though I don't see how God's going to do it, I'm going to continue to do what God said, and somehow or another the miracle is going to engage in my life that is already progressing. So he says here, he says something is unique, because here it is, God is always moving us. Touch somebody beside you, tell them he's